I was standing at my husband's funeral, holding white roses, when a woman I'd never seen before walked up to the casket. She was crying. Behind her were two children, maybe in their 20s. She leaned down, kissed my husband's forehead, and whispered, "I love you, David. I'm 73 years old. I was married to that man for 35 years. And in that moment, I realized I never knew him at all." My name is Margaret, and I need to tell you this story. Not because I want sympathy, not because I want you to feel sorry for me, but because what happened to me could happen to anyone. And if sharing my pain can save even one person from living a lie, then maybe something good can come from all of this. I met David in the spring of 1985. I was 25 years old, working as a secretary at a law firm in Boston. He walked into the office one Tuesday morning to meet with one of the partners. Tall, dark hair, a smile that made you feel like you were the only person in the room. He asked me to dinner that same week. I said yes. 3 months later, he proposed. 6 months after that, we were married. Everyone said we were moving too fast. My mother worried. My friends raised eyebrows. But when you're young and in love, you don't listen to warnings. You think your love is different, special, immune to the problems that plague other people. David was a traveling salesman for a medical equipment company. That's what he told me. He covered the entire East Coast, which meant he was gone 3 or 4 days a week, sometimes more. I didn't mind at first. I trusted him completely. Why wouldn't I? He called every night. He brought me gifts from every city. He told me he missed me. Looking back now, I see how perfect his setup was. A job that required constant travel. A wife who trusted him without question. And somewhere, 200 miles away, another woman who believed the exact same lies I did. Our first years together were happy. At least, I thought they were. David was attentive when he was home. He remembered anniversaries, birthdays, the little things that make a woman feel loved. We bought a house in the suburbs, had 2 children, a boy and a girl, built what I thought was a beautiful life. But there were moments, small things that didn't quite add up, phone calls he'd take in another room, business trips that got extended at the last minute, times when he'd come home and seemed distant, distracted, like his mind was somewhere else. I asked him once if everything was okay. He looked at me with those brown eyes and said, "Margaret, you're the only woman I've ever loved. You're my whole world." And I believed him. God help me, I believed every word. The truth is, I wanted to believe him. It's easier to believe a beautiful lie than to face an ugly truth. So I ignored the signs. I explained away the inconsistencies. I told myself I was being paranoid, insecure, unfair to a man who worked so hard to provide for his family. 35 years. That's how long my marriage lasted. 35 years of shared meals, shared beds, holidays, vacations, grandchildren. 35 years of a life I thought was real. David retired when he was 67. I thought we'd finally have time together. No more business trips, no more nights alone. Just the 2 of us, growing old together, enjoying the life we'd built. And for a few years it was good. We traveled. We visited the grandchildren. We sat on our porch and watched the sunset. I thought I was the luckiest woman in the world. Then David got sick. Pancreatic cancer. The doctors gave him 6 months. He lasted 4. I was by his side every single day. I held his hand when the pain was bad. I told him I loved him over and over. And in those final weeks, he had chances to tell me the truth. So many chances. But he never did. He died on a Tuesday morning. I was holding his hand when he took his last breath. I thought I knew everything about the man I'd spent my life with. I was wrong. The funeral was on a Saturday. Beautiful spring day, just like the day we met. The church was full. David was well liked. Friends, neighbors, colleagues, family, they all came to pay their respects. I was standing near the casket, accepting condolences, when I noticed a woman I didn't recognize walking up the aisle. She was about my age, well-dressed, crying. Behind her were two younger people, a man and a woman in their late 20s. I assumed they were distant relatives or old colleagues. David knew so many people from his years of traveling. I smiled politely and prepared to introduce myself, but then the woman walked past me. She didn't even look at me. She went straight to the casket, leaned down, and kissed my husband on the forehead. And she whispered, loud enough for me to hear, "I love you, David. I'll never forget you." My blood went cold. The way she said it, the intimacy, the familiarity. This wasn't a colleague. This wasn't a distant relative. This was something else. I watched as the two younger people approached the casket. The young man put his hand on it and said, "Goodbye, Dad." Dad. The rest of the funeral is a blur. I don't remember the service. I don't remember the eulogy. I just remember that word echoing in my head. Dad. 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 After the burial, I found the woman in the parking lot. My hands were shaking. My voice was trembling. I walked up to her and said, "Who are you?" She looked at me with confusion at first, then recognition, then horror. Her face went pale. She said, "You're Margaret, aren't you?" She knew my name. This stranger knew my name. "I'm Linda," she said. "I was David's wife." Was David's wife. I told her that was impossible. I was David's wife. We'd been married for 35 years. She started crying. She said, "So have I." What Linda told me in that parking lot destroyed everything I thought I knew about my life. She met David in 1986, 1 year after he married me. She lived in Philadelphia, 200 miles from our home in Boston. He told her he was a traveling salesman too. He told her he loved her. He married her in a small ceremony in 1987. They had 2 children, a son and a daughter, the same as me. For 35 years, David split his life between 2 families. When he told me he was traveling for work, he was with her. When he told her he was traveling for work, he was with me. He had 2 houses, 2 wives, 2 sets of children, 2 complete lives. And neither of us knew about the other. Linda and I stood in that parking lot for 2 hours, comparing stories. Every business trip he took corresponded to time he spent with the other family. Every holiday he had to work was a holiday he spent in another home. He had a system, a perfect, cruel system that worked for 35 years. After the funeral, I went home and started looking, really looking, through old phone records, credit card statements, calendars, everything I'd ignored for 35 years. The signs were everywhere. How did I miss them? He always insisted on handling the finances alone. He had a separate phone for work. He never let me come on his business trips, not once in 35 years. He was always vague about his schedule. And whenever I asked too many questions, he'd get defensive and accuse me of not trusting him. I found receipts for jewelry I never received, hotel bookings in cities he said he never visited, a second phone bill that went to a P.O. box I didn't know existed. The evidence was there all along. I just didn't want to see it. Telling my children was the hardest thing I've ever done. My son was furious. He wanted to dig up his father's grave and scream at the corpse. My daughter cried for 3 days straight. They both asked me the same question. "Did you know, Mom? Did you have any idea?" I had to look my children in the eyes and admit that their mother was a fool, that I'd been lied to for their entire lives. that the man they called Dad, the man they loved and respected, was living a double life the whole time. They have half-siblings now, two people they've never met who share their father's blood. My son refuses to meet them. He says they're strangers. My daughter is curious but scared. I don't blame them either way. This isn't their fault. It's not even Linda's fault or her children's fault. The only person to blame is David, and he's beyond blame now. 3 months after the funeral, Linda and I met for coffee. I don't know why I agreed to it. Maybe I needed answers. Maybe I needed to see her as a real person, not just the other woman. We talked for 4 hours. She showed me photos. I showed her mine. We compared anniversaries, birthdays, gifts he'd given us. It was surreal, like comparing notes on a stranger we'd both loved. The strange thing is, I don't hate Linda. I can't. She was lied to just as much as I was. She raised her children believing David was a faithful husband, just like I did. She mourned him when he died, just like I did. We're not enemies. We're both victims of the same man. She told me something that day that I'll never forget. She said, "Margaret, we both loved a man who didn't exist. The David you knew and the David I knew were both fiction. The real David was someone neither of us ever met." That sentence broke something inside me, but it also freed something. Because she was right. I wasn't competing with Linda for David's love. We were both loving a ghost, a character he invented, a role he played. Linda and I still talk sometimes. Not often, but enough. She's the only person in the world who truly understands what I went through. We share a strange bond, the two widows of a man who never really existed. People ask me if I regret my marriage, if I wish I'd never met David, if I feel like my whole life was wasted. The truth is complicated. Yes, my husband lied to me. Yes, my marriage was built on deception. But I also raised 2 beautiful children. I have grandchildren I adore. I had moments of genuine happiness, even if they were part of a lie. Can something real come from something false? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. What I do know is that I can't get those 35 years back. I can't unlove David. I can't unfeel the happiness I felt or the pain I feel now. All I can do is move forward and try to find meaning in what's left. If you're watching this, I want you to hear something. Trust is precious, but blind trust is dangerous. I'm not saying you should spy on your partner or assume the worst, but I am saying you should pay attention. If something feels wrong, it probably is. If questions go unanswered, there's usually a reason. If your gut is telling you something, listen to it. I ignored my gut for 35 years. I explained away every red flag because I wanted to believe in my marriage. I wanted to believe in David. And that belief cost me the truth. Don't make my mistake. Don't trade truth for comfort. Don't let love blind you to reality. Ask the hard questions. Look at the bank statements. Know where your partner is and who they're with. Not because you don't trust them, but because trust should be earned, not assumed. I gave David my trust like a gift on our wedding day. I never asked him to earn it. I never checked to make sure he deserved it. And he exploited that trust every single day for 35 years. Love is not enough. Trust is not enough. You need truth. Without truth, everything else is just a beautiful illusion waiting to collapse. I'm 73 years old. I've been a widow for 2 years. But I've only been free of David's lies for that same amount of time. Some days, I'm angry, furious at him for what he did, for the life he stole from me, for the truth he never gave me. Other days, I'm just sad. Sad for the woman I was, who trusted so completely. Sad for Linda, who deserved better too. Sad for all our children who have to live with this legacy. But most days now, I'm just trying to find peace, to accept what happened and move forward, to build something real in whatever time I have left. David took 35 years of truth from me. I won't let him take whatever years I have remaining. I've learned that healing isn't linear. Some days I feel strong. Other days I cry in the shower where no one can hear me. Some mornings I wake up and forget for a moment, and then reality crashes back like a wave. But I'm still here. I'm still standing. And every day I choose to keep living, I'm taking back a little piece of what David stole. He doesn't get to define my story anymore. He wrote the first 35 years without my knowledge, but I'm writing the ending. And my ending will be one of truth, not lies, of healing, not hiding, of finally knowing who I am without him. If this story meant something to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment and tell me your thoughts. And subscribe, because I've lived 73 years and I have more stories to tell. The person you trust most might not be who you think they are. Pay attention, ask questions, and never stop looking for the truth. Because the truth, no matter how painful, is always better than a beautiful lie.